So Chicago hotel strike enters its 6th day as workers demand year-round health insurance. Workers from 26 hotels have joined the fight. Thousands of Chicago hotel workers continue their strike for the 6th day on Wednesday, primarily to demand a year-round health insurance guarantee. The union said workers also want higher wages, more sick days, and more manageable workloads, the Associated Press reported. Their contracts, which covered 6,000 employees, expired on August 30th. The number of hotel workers involved in the strike has only increased since then. On Monday, workers at Cambria, Chicago, Magnificent Mile joined the strike, which brought the count of hotels affected by the strike to 26. Before the strike, more than 3,000 Unite Here Local 1's members voted on the issue and 97% voted to authorize it. The union told the Chicago Tribune that it is the most widespread and coordinated hotel strike ever held in Chicago. It's the first strike in the city to include all hotel workers, whether they're dishwashers or housekeepers. As the Tribune reported, there are only 4 hotels that have expired contracts where hotel workers are not on strike: Hotel Raffaello, Tremont Chicago, at Magnificent Mile, Park Hyatt Chicago, and Fairmont Chicago. Some fine dining restaurants are also having to offer limited menus. So here's why they're doing this. It's common for hotel workers to get laid off during the winter when business is slower, and workers end up losing their much-needed health coverage. We don't need you, you're laid off, and no health care. These are people that work long shifts, that work hard, and that keep a hotel going. Hotels are a 24/7 enterprise. You need constant attention and care in a hotel. I was a road comic for years. I still travel very regularly, more so than the average person. And I can tell you hotel workers, they work hard. They work damn hard. So to not give them benefits is absolutely absurd. You make good money during peak time, and that carries you through the rest of the year. Just as your business is carried through the rest of the year, your employees should be carried through the rest of the year. So it doesn't affect the overall profit margin. Just because a hotel rakes in a bunch of cash, maybe during the months of May through October, more so than the rest of the year, they probably see a spike during the holidays. The salary's not affected. You don't see a CEO taking home less pay during those slow months. The profit margin is still overall throughout the year. That's how it's measured. So that profit margin, a cost included there, should be taking care of the employees for the year, not just for when times are good. If that's how you're going to treat your employees, well, then it should be a worker co-op where they get a piece of their labor, but they don't. You see how this is capitalism? This is capitalistic welfare for the corporate state. This is having their cake and eating it too. If you're going to treat employees like this, they should get a cut of the pie, of the actual pie, which in most cases would probably give them enough. And this is why we shouldn't have employer-based healthcare. This is another reason. But the bright side of this, workers are striking. And, again, we've talked about it on this show. I still stand by this. We need a nationwide strike in this country. That's what we need to do. And I don't know how to coordinate something like that. Again, I've promised I'll do everything I can to help. I'll be a communication vessel in every outlet at my disposal to the best of my ability. That's how I'll help. Because a strike wouldn't apply to me. And I know that. Some of you mentioned WGA and SGA. I'm actually not a member of any of those organizations because I've never done anything that has been applicable to it. I've never written for an actual TV show. I've never, I've written screenplays. I've never sold any. Still working on that one. And, prior to moving to Los Angeles, I was a stand-up comic on the road. I was just going from club to club doing gigs. We need a union. We don't have one. We desperately need one. So anyway, none of those unions were applicable to me. And they're still not. I work in independent media now. And when I tour, I still, do it on my own. So the strike is not applicable to me. And I'm lucky that that's the case. I consider myself fortunate that I get to do things that I love to do for a living. That's, I think the biggest prize there is. And so I would just do everything in my power to help. I would be a communication vessel to the best of my ability. As far as the next, I have no idea what I know none of us do. That's, and I get it. It's very like, well, we need this. Well, how the hell do we get that? Like, well, I'm not trying to lecture, really. I'm just saying we need to look at what the teachers did, look at what the hotel workers did, and we need to start that in every industry. We need to have a national strike in this country to get workers' rights back. Because, everything's a dialectic, and we have gone way over here when it comes to workers' rights. Right to work is on the rise while unions are getting stomped out. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to summarize this. Right to work, which should be called right to exploit, because that's what it is. I've lived in a right to work state. I lived in Tennessee. I saw it firsthand. I saw people that were doing jobs meant for 3 or 4 people, but they were doing it themselves. They worked over 50 hours a week. They had no paid time off. They had no benefits. And they worked 6 days a week in a warehouse that did not have air conditioning. 6 days a week, 50-hour shifts, no vacation, no paid time off, no benefits. That's what right to work does. So, good for the hotel workers in Chicago. I wish them success, of course. And I really hope a lot of other industries and a lot of other people are taking note and are figuring out a way to do it themselves. Because it can't be easy. When you get laid off on a regular basis and you don't get benefits, it can't be easy to just say, well, I'm going to go on strike. You might be living paycheck to paycheck. You might have kids. You might have 2 other jobs. I know it's not easy. We got to figure out a way to make it work, and the only way to do that is to kind of cooperate in our communities. We have to have some kind of solidarity for this to work. And I don't know exactly how to do that, but the one thing I do know, it starts in your backyard. If you're a worker doing whatever, it starts by talking to your neighbors and your coworkers. So good for Chicago. I hope they continue it.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make